Okay, so I didn't realize how long it had been. It's been about a month. Uh, I've progressed through the entirety of ZPM and am just on in UV, waiting on some flex electrum to craft so I can actually get into UV proper. Um, Obviously, a lot more has happened. Waterline, some passive netherite scrap stuff going on here. Um, Actually just fixed. Is it not working again? It may not be working again. That's fun. Or no, it is working. It's just there's some stuff being corrected. This water line's a little messy. I need to make it different. I need to make centralized control for all these gates, and part of it is it does pull a hell of a lot of power, so I also need to shut that down a little bit. Although I have more than enough power right now. I did plutonium or high density plutonium vac nukes. Oh my god, can't get inside because that was the next best step. And I'm actually about to do core, the core once I get UV hatches. So UV input and UV output hatches. I will be doing the core. I'm gonna do what was it? I'm gonna need 464. I actually need to look at bedrockium. I forgot what the bedrockium recipe is. I think there's a way for me to get it before going here. I'm not here yet, but anyway. So I need to look into bedrockium. I've heard of a recipe that is pre going to those planets, but I don't remember where it is. It might be going to the weird Icorium place, so I might have to magic progress a lot, even though I'm about to have to do that anyway. I swear there was a recipe for this. Anyway, that's not important right now. Lots of, more. I think all those were there. Upgraded these to Latinium. A whole bunch more multi blocks. Both are Fusion Mark 1 and 2. This is not running. I should run something in that. Oh well. I have not gotten Americium yet, actually, so I need to do that. The plan is the high temperature gas cooled reactor, which is changing in 2.9. Sadly, I've looked at like this is changing 2.9. These are changing in 2.9. All of the ore proc is changing in 2.9, which is kind of why I haven't built it out more because if they actually make their nice 6-7 goal, which is great, fantastic GTNH devs, may or not be a joke. And it's looking like they're on pace for that, so that's good. But like these and a few more of these multi blocks that are changing in 2.9. I'm gonna update to that once it's there because may as well. So it'll break stuff. It'll break this thing. It'll break all my ore proc. I don't remember if the electrolyzers are changing. I don't think they are, but it'll break some stuff. Which is unfortunate, but we'll deal with that when we get there. um, Whole subnet for void miners, so I have void miners on all these planets, and gas on all these. It's just simple. It's the same setup in every place. It's like here's the raw setup. Most of these are down at bedrock because on the on the planets obviously you should have them down at bedrock, but the Ross one doesn't really matter. So it's just ZPM power that's been P2P'd. I basically just I made a subnet for power specifically. That all it does is it carries power lines through uh, this. This is literally it. Just there's an IV one because there's a few nether. Oh my god, extreme entity crushers. There's a few. So let's just go to the nether. Why not? There's a few extreme entity crushers here. That gas is awfully close. and, air intakes for another semi-fluid. A lot of that is, completely. The nether semi-fluid is probably completely overbuilt, and I have kind of screwed up some of the conditions on, when things get enabled and disabled. But that's fine. It can just run constantly. It doesn't really matter. So, full 64K. I might upgrade these to 1024K just to have a ridiculous supply of all of these. It's like 2 billion instead of, ridiculous numbers anyway. So that's all this is doing. This is just, great source of neon. Great sources are all the other intermediate liquids. Great source of nitrogen. This is actually where I'm getting my nitrogen because, or most of it. There are other passives. There's a passive all the way over here that's producing. Not producing. Oh, no, obviously didn't matter. Obviously, this doesn't matter anyway. I'm just gonna shut it off. May as well. No real point in those two because of another semi-fluid. I went ahead and redid the subnet on here, and there's one for the nether. There will be one for the end eventually because I believe the end crystals are needed in Thaumcraft, or end shards. Very little. I moved this here. I need to set magic up way more. I'm kind of putting that off as long as possible, although it's about to become very necessary. This is all I'm doing with this is making hellish metal at this point, and I'm doing that completely manually. The instability is low enough that I don't need any of the blocks if you make it fully symmetrical. But I probably should actually properly do this. Make a whole cube of ancient. I'll probably do it over there. But yeah, I was gonna do nether quartz duping with Britannia, but then I decided, you know what, the Certus quartz and red algae recipe is cheap enough. Obviously, making duping quartz with Britannia is like way, way, way better. It's very cheap. I'll get there. I think once I get Infinity, if I'm gonna try to get all the way to Infinity Catalyst and then Infinity, so that I can make the Everlasting Guilty Pool. Before I really go too much deeper, although that does require stuff like, getting into Alf Glass, getting into other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much the update. This is for, this is like the next thing for Lutetium after I make some UV hatches, because you can make UV hatches before you can actually really get in. Well, actually, I guess you can't. I guess I do need some Americium, so I need to do this. And then I can make UV hatches, because you need the pump. And then once I do that, I'm going to build core reactors, like I said at the beginning of the video. Core reactors back here. I'll probably move all this stuff. This is all just kind of weird passives for all these liquids that aren't really. It isn't really keeping up anymore. Phenol especially. It isn't really keeping up anymore. But that's okay. It's still good it's still a good passive to have. I might just swap it over to EV power, because it's just running on HP power. All this is HP power, completely self-contained benzene setup. So I'll just swap it over to HP power, and it should, or EV power. My bad, and it should continue to work just fine. What else? Oh, the LSA, so that I can kind of bypass ever having to make a assembling machine ever again. And this is actually making coils and eventually superconductor. UV, great way to bypass. Love that. I am like severely limited by the one volcanus that I have. I'm going to be making an array of that very shortly once I actually make the UV hatch. Where is this hatch? No, it's a stocking hatch, but it's for fluids. I'm just gonna make this one. I think I could technically make it now if I really got into bios, or sorry, wetware, not bios, wetware. The only thing I'm really missing here is the growth catalyst and the. Is that it? Actually, that might be it. Yeah, all I'm missing is growth catalyst, which is just annoying because I have to do bacterial vats, and I didn't want to do that yet, even though it's not that hard. I could do this with ZPM hatches very easily. It's gonna be hell to you know get up and running initially. Um, Whatever. Maybe I'll do this whole line. Oh boy. Yeah, I could do that line pretty easily. Um. Anyway, so this for these. Yeah, I guess there's a lot more that I have to do here. That's okay. Oh boy, lots of mysterious crystal. That's the one thing I am, slightly concerned about because it's you don't get a source of it until tier 9 planets, but that's okay. So I obviously, I'm not doing a whole great bunch of ore processing. I just have a stockpile running. And there's some stuff here that I'm like, okay, I could probably get rid of a lot of these, but I'm already filtering some ores out, just not all of them. Like a lot of the iron duplicates I'm filtering out. Uh, some other stuff. I'm just going to do post filtering on this side eventually and just fix it all with what are they called? Man, I can never remember the stupid name. Even though I'm using them a bunch. IO ports. IO ports, yep. They'll just fix it with IO ports. Make a void cell, put it on the network, fucking void all of the things, ores that I don't want to the void cell. Should work just fine. So yeah, I mean, I probably didn't need to make this. It's just for making clay. I just didn't want to do an EV one. My nether star duping sucks. I mean, it doesn't need to be anything beyond EV even up to this point. It's that machine, and then like I think it's one of these. Is on this side? Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. It kind of sucks. I just need more Salus. Again, I'm refusing to do bees, refusing to do plants. So Salus duping is just locked behind Magic Gate. But I'm getting to that pretty soon. Magic will all be here. Magic here, powers here, passive processing is mostly over here, except for a few random things that aren't. And then this is all the multi-blocks. That's, I think I said that in the last section of video that I made. I have to undo this. There was a craft that needed it, and I just was lazy. So I need to upgrade these. I guess these weren't upgraded last time I showed the base. I just made a stupid row of 1024K crafting storages with co-processors. This served me well. Needs to be upgraded, obviously. I need to do the Nequadria line right here. It's not that much, but still just do the Nequadria line. Do water tier 4 and probably 5 once I'm in UV. And yeah, Flux Electrum obviously coming right now. The netherite, Naquarite, Universal Insulator Foil. That's what it is. It's a little interesting to make. Is this halted on something? Why are you not? Oh, is it backed up? Ah, yes, I may have screwed that up slightly. Let's see. I have Yeah, I have glass somewhere to fix this. There's some glass in one of these that I'm not using. Anyway, fix that. Uh, there was glass somewhere that I used really recently that I swear is in like a multi-block that I'm not actually using right now, and I just don't remember what it was. Anyway, fix that. I guess I could take this. Well, I'm using that. Yeah, just fix that. Do the rest of the stuff. Um, yeah, I mean that's it for now. Oh, I suppose this is not GTNH related, but in the meantime, my friends wanted to play a pack. Uh, why is it not working? Because it's not full screened. Okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. They wanted to play all the mons. So you know, we did a little bit of that. Um, it's stupid hours in the morning right now, so they're not on. But fix a little server profiling things. But yeah, so this is most of that. I don't know. They wanted to not build in a flat world, and I was like, you know what? I want to build in a flat world, and so everything kind of ended up being here. Um, and missing a lot of stuff still, but create lines are interesting. Not hard, but interesting. This pack actually forces you to do some create lines, but you can kind of skip a lot of the weird stuff with electric motors. And lovely processing arrays that could be made differently, but I decided, why not? Oh, and yes, we love the. It'd be great if GTNH had something like this. I don't know if they have something like this late, like really late game, but just all this does is this spawns new CPUs every time you put a craft in. So if I do like, no, I, no crafts actually take any time in this. So but yeah, all this does is it spawns more. You can kind of see it there. It flickered one, uh, and then this is just like the one in GTNH that just has like a whole bunch of crafting storage. Um, but it's also like very highly parallel. Yeah, this there we already have this block. We don't have a block like this. It'd be cool to get a block like this, but that's future stuff. So yeah, we don't have EHEs here, so this is what you're reduced to. Apothic spawners. Actually, I have a redstone control here. Apothic spawners, which are really really fun, very easy. This is the same. Those are okay. Very easy. A2 makes stuff very easy. A lot of stuff that I learned in GTNH that I got to apply here was actually somewhat fun. Um, we're not done. I've been kind of doing this in the past 2 weeks in the background with them. Uh, the AE version in this has like parallelization on pattern providers, interestingly. So like I'm not sure if the AE in 1.7 does this. I think it doesn't. Um, but it'll basically, any machine that can be pushed to in this uh, like whole processing thing will be pushed to. Um, oh, and I will probably also tessellate my uh, controller like this. This is off the max channels video that people. This is only half of it. You do the whole other half back here, but I'll probably tessellate my controller in GTNH like this. Uh, Eventually, in the next, probably not in the next video, but if I do need the channels, that is an option. Ah, yes, the lovely machine that you in crude humor you make. I forgot about that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's been fun, and modular routers are obviously pretty great. You got to put them in eco mode to kind of save TPS. That's what a lot of this is about. The first thing was like modular routers, and then compacting drawers being horrible, and these quantum crafters are also extremely TPS hungry. I had to set limits on all of these. These are cool, but extremely TPS hungry. So if you don't limit them, they will drop you. Like just these four, with all these patterns, were dropping me. Resource collection with essences very different in all any pack with mystical agriculture. Um, yeah, this has been a sidebar while I've been playing GTNH. And I basically restarted this basically at the exact same time I got into ZPM, and now I'm at the end of ZPM in GTNH, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool that I was able to parallel prog this in about 2 weeks to being at ZPM. I made the gravity chest plate finally, which has been a little adjustment because the advanced jetpack you have to space and H together, which turns on levitation mode here, whereas you can just go into creative. But yeah, so the next thing, UV hatches. This thing, I have to do some actual processing for that thing. Core reactors, which oh my god, it's been 21 hours since I started this, and that's how much it's collected from one void miner filled with krypton. So that's enough to run a lot of reactors. I did the math somewhere in some thing. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's more than enough to run, all of the things that I want. So yeah, that is it for now. I may need to up this. That is it for now. Probably, long-term plans in UV. I'm gonna make the space elevator so I can just bypass having to make basically. I think it's the tier 8 rocket that lets you bypass. I don't know if you can do it without making the tier 7, but tier 8, I might make it anyway. Does it require UEV? No, that's what does this require? Okay, that requires UV, so technically UHV. So I think I'm like the space elevator, so I can just bypass needing to make the rocket. Which will let me get Nether Star ore. And Nether Stars are my kind of problem right now, because pretty much every time I need to do Nether Stars, I just take a little break and use Wheels, Cups, and Souls. And I looked into like the Killer Joe, but there's not really a great way to do that. And I don't want to do the really glitchy thing where you hold a bow in your other hand that has stupid high looting enchantment and just kill withers and get stacks of stars. It's a little, it was funny to see in Project Singularity, but it's a little, it's a little out of the wheelhouse here. So yeah, that's it for now. Nice 23-minute video. Oh boy. Well, goodbye.